book me or not, whatever.
Olivia Macklin with us today. We want to thank you so much for coming through and just blessing us with your presence, your time, your personality is excellent. So
Thanks for having me.
we just want to thank you. So really, the purpose of this podcast is called "Book Me or Not," right? And
Mhm.
and we call it "Book Me or Not" because we are creatives and we have the feeling of saying, "Look, you're gonna book us or not."
I like that. I like that.
Yeah. So it's a creative based podcast, and it's basically to give inspiration to people out there who are on the same creative grind. So
Yeah.
that's basically what this is about. So we're gonna get it started. Where are you from?
I'm from Chicago. Well, just north of Chicago, like 30 minutes north of the city.
Okay, and what brought you to LA?
So after I graduated high school, I actually went to New York City first. I went to Fordham University. I went to the college at Lincoln Center there. And maybe a year after I graduated a bit early, but about a year after I graduated, I booked my first pilot in LA called LA to Vegas. And that took me out here. Once that got picked up, I moved out permanently.
Okay, so the pilot. So you experienced LA, and you were like, "This is for me. I'm staying in LA," or how that work?
Yeah. I had been in New York for 5 years at that point. And it was a grind. I mean, I was there for college. I was working a bunch of different crazy jobs. I was so over it at that point. I mean, I was like I was living in Harlem and working in Brooklyn and taking like 3 trains to get to work. And I was like so ready for something to take me out to LA. So I knew right away that I wanted to be here for a while, but I like moving around. So I'm already starting to get the itch to leave, but I love LA. I do.
I'm the same way. Like I was in LA for 3 years, so I know
Yeah.
how it is. It's like you get somewhere and be like, I'm ready to see something else.
Yeah. You got to see it all to know who you are. I feel
Right,
like
right,
what you
right.
want. Yeah.
Challenge. So what does Chicago mean to you?
Oh, Chicago's home. I really have such a fondness for where I'm from, especially now. I mean, I think it's a city with a lot of character. For one thing, I think it has a very distinct tone, but the people are really kind in the Midwest. I mean, now I've lived in so many major cities. I've lived in New Orleans too. And I just think that people from Chicago, you can't beat them.
All right.
They're really, really sweet, good people. Yeah.
Theater, like
Yeah.
being in theater, and how did that help you with what you're doing now?
Oh my gosh. Well, I think that theater and film and TV are such different mediums, but I just think it's best to start in theater because it's so humbling. It's a lot more about the work and long days and rehearsals, and it's challenging, and I think it just really primes you where you've built muscle tone, metaphorical muscle tone, and you're resilient, and you know how to analyze a script, and you're, especially in theater school, you're really forced to stretch your abilities, because in theater school it's not TV where, okay, I'm a 28-year-old white blonde woman, I'm going to play parts that fit that. In theater school you're going to play an ogre guarding an island in The Tempest, or you're going to play a witch, or you're going to play whatever. So you get to really expand your kinesphere, and it just makes you better then, because even now I play characters that are in my lane. I do it with more range than I would have if it was all I knew. Yeah.
How did you get to be funny? It's funny.
I know, we should say that I gave you a hard time on set. I always find someone who I know I can have a good banter with. I zero in on them because it's fun. You know, we're on a fun set and things can get intense or whatever, and to be able to laugh with someone is good. How do I get to be funny? Well, I always accredit it when bad things happen to you, you
Right.
can either go to a dark place, you can laugh about it.
Okay.
And you know, life and I think I found humor to be sorry, I hope you can hear me. My microphone just adjusted. Humor was always a good way to kind of bring lightness to my life. And I think too, you know, this isn't always obvious to people, but I'm very open about I'm Jewish. And I just think being a Jew, an American Jew, automatically gives you a sense of humor in a lot of ways because my family is an absurd group of characters. And for me, Judaism is mostly a cultural thing. And so from a young age, I was exposed to shows like Seinfeld and The Nanny, and it just infused itself into my way of being. But I don't know, just born that way, I guess.
So let me tell you guys, she told them to fire me. She's like, fire
Yes.
Mario. You need to fire Mario now.
But then, the thing is, how some people are nice to your face and mean to behind your back.
Right.
I'm the opposite. The people I love the most, I give the hardest
Oh,
time to. And then when they're great, I love them, So you probably work on that, but it's all in good fun.
that's good. That's good. You bring good energy to the set. So, you know how I asked you, are you funny in real life? Like, I see that you're funny, but how do you translate that into a comedy, like that somebody writes, and how do they make it fit, for you? Like, you can be funny with your friends and
Yeah,
family, but how do you bring that to,
right.
to set?
To a character,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's it. You know what? No one's ever asked me that before because it's so different, right? I know so many people who are so funny in real life, but like cannot translate it. And then the other way around. I think I'm a good balance of both, I guess. But I love the acrobatics of comedy. I love the challenge of it. I've always thought that comedic actors were the best actors. And because of the formula of a joke and how to uh, carry it out, I like on Friends. I think they all have their own strengths, but David Schwimmer was the best technician because he really approached it from that technical standpoint of, okay, how do I convey this? How do I make people laugh right now? It wasn't necessarily just off the cuff. I think that's more me when it comes to being funny on camera is, okay, how do I make this moment happen? And it's kind of like my own it's like mechanics, it's fun.
So
Yeah.
I know you heard this before a lot, right? I know you have. Oh, comedy is too hard. What are you doing comedy? Get out of comedy. Why are you doing comedy? It's too hard.
Right.
I know, yeah.
That it's hard for me or that I shouldn't do it.
You
What do
always
you mean by
hear,
that?
yeah, you always hear people saying, no, don't do comedy, stay away from comedy. Like, it's
Yeah,
too hard, it's too hard. I know you probably hear that a lot or heard it.
I do. Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of people are afraid of it because they're afraid to not get the laugh because it's that silence is deafening, especially in multicam. When you try something and you fail, it can really suck. But I just I've always loved trying and failing. It doesn't bother me that much. Okay, so I didn't get a laugh, whatever. Like I'm proud of myself for going for it because so many people wouldn't. Um, I also just fell into it, like my first job I got was comedy. And then I think once you're in that lane, people trust you with it more. So I've been really lucky that then it's like, okay, well, she's been on 4 comedies, so we know that she can do it. So I feel lucky. I feel really lucky that I get to be funny.
So, like, is it beats with comedy? I hear people say that like you gotta time it right. Is it certain beats or what's your insight on that?
Yeah, comedy is all timing, absolutely. Um, I just think in general, the thing that I'm most focused on is whoever I'm in a scene with, because I trust, myself, and I know that if I just surrender everything else and play off of what's happening in real time, it'll always come out right. So if someone is setting me up for a joke, my response will truly come from listening to them, and that'll be the humor, or vice versa. I love to set up a joke. I love to like give someone their shot and watch them do it. Like that is the most gratifying feeling in the world. Or even like just suggesting to another actor if they want my opinion, like helping them find the funny is just my favorite thing.
On set, maintaining your diet, but being on set for long periods of time and walking by crafty and getting offered different food. How do you still stay healthy and you have to be on set these all hours? Like, how do you stay grounded and stay strong on your diet?
Well, when it comes to crafty, Mario, I have no willpower. I'm not the person that you want to talk to about, like, I know so many actors when they're filming, they are, in good ways and bad. You see it all. You see people who are just really regimented and healthy when they're working, and some people who, unfortunately apply some unhealthy habits in the name of health that aren't really healthy.
Right.
I don't do either. I'm Listen, I'm an overall healthy person. I like to take care of myself, but I have the biggest sweet tooth in the world, and crafty is just
Right.
an abundance of candy. Actually, on our set, Lalo, who was our crafty guy, knew how
Yeah.
much I love chocolate. And at one point, someone else went up to crafty and was like, "Oh, I'm getting something, but not for me." And it wasn't for me, but he goes, "Is it for Olivia?"
Oh, you know.
Because he knew how much I love chocolate. So health wise, I mean, I try to like start the day right, but sometimes you just need sugar, especially when you're doing comedy. Like, you got to find a way to have that energy. And if it's a candy bar, it's a candy bar. But mental health wise, I do a lot. I meditate. I do a little yin yoga at the end of the day to unwind. I listen to good music. You have to make sure, I think that's way more important, is just making sure that your mind is right as best as you can, but be gentle with yourself about that. If you're having a hard day, you're having a hard day.
You know why I asked you that question? Because I have no willpower crafty. So I
Yeah.
yeah, because I just keep passing and I just can't help it. Just there, just keep saying
Like, come on. So
it.
hard. Like, I'll try to, for my meals, I'll keep it healthy. I have a salad or whatever. But
Yeah, of
if
course.
I'm gonna pass crafty, like, you just can't give me the option. If the option is there, I will take it. I've never walked past crafty and not gotten food. Like, it's horrible.
No, right, right. That's what I was asking, because like I can't do it.
I know, neither can I. It's
When
all
your
good.
shooting schedule is crazy, how do you stay grounded?
You know, I should backtrack and be honest. Like, I try my best, but it is hard, especially because as an actor and kind of at the level that I'm at,
Mhm.
um, I spend a lot of time not working. You book something and then you're waiting to hear if it gets picked up, or you film the first season, you're waiting to hear the second season, or maybe it gets canceled and then you're looking for that next job. So I spend a lot of time on my own schedule. And that's a beautiful thing. I get to wake up when I want, go to bed when I want, take naps, whatever. And then you book that job and it's like, oh shit, we're starting now. And like, our schedule was brutal. We were driving an hour outside, and it wasn't actually brutal. It really wasn't. But when you go from not working for a minute to then diving in, it's like, holy crap. Um, so I definitely try to sleep, but it can be hard. And um, just be grateful, I guess, is the thing. Like, I don't necessarily think there's an answer there, except to say, like, look, this is hard work. It's crazy. I feel so tired. I have a migraine. My eyes feel like fireballs in my skull, but I'm really happy to be here. And it's a limited amount of time too. So it's like, this might be hard, but gotta just savor it while I'm here.
Right.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Is stuff I ask you because a lot of people who are wanting to get into set and just wondering about set, they want to see how it goes and just just
It's a
getting advice.
mystery. I didn't know a lot about this industry until I did it. So it's really nice when someone is like, I don't want to bother you, but can I ask you a question? I'm like, let me tell you, so you're at least a little prepared
Yeah,
before you go into it. Yeah.
it's a whole nother world.
Mhm.
What advice would you give to up and coming actors and actress? Something that you can give them to guide them along the way.
There's so much I could say, right? I mean, look, it's going to be hard.
Right,
And there are just so many this is an industry that is kind of built to destroy you. If that probably sounds really negative and scary, but I
right.
mean, it's
I
true.
get it.
It's going to test you, and it's going to push you to your limits, and it's going to make you feel really unworthy and not great. And if you can find a way to just like love yourself and all of that, and be gentle with yourself, and prioritize your happiness. For the longest time, I didn't care about my happiness. I cared about being an actor. I didn't care about finding love. I didn't care about finding balance or experiencing anything else in the world. And well, that was fine. I was very ambitious, and a lot of people are that way, and it's great. I've gotten a lot better, and I've made a lot more peace with this industry when I've savored my life outside of it. and appreciated myself outside of it, not looking for my worth in a casting director or director or producer, whoever the fuck, you know.
Right,
Finding a way to be like, I'm good no matter what.
right, right,
I'm
right.
great no matter what. It's hard. It took me long. I mean, I've wanted to do this my whole life, and I think maybe around 26, I'm 28 is when I started to realize this. So it takes a lot, but yeah, I don't know if that's helpful, but maybe.
No, it's really helpful. Like, 'cause I
Good.
really, I feel what you're saying. So it's
Okay, good.
really, really, really helpful. Um, I seen that you had an agent before you kind of like when you were in school, kind of.
I no, so I met my manager, who I'm
Yeah.
still with, who I love very much, while I was still in school. I was actually doing an off Broadway play, and he had a client in it, so he came to see it and introduced himself to me, and that's how our relationship started. But he didn't know I was in school at the time.
All right.
Uh, so at first he was like, "Oh, I can't sign you," and I was like, "I'm not letting this opportunity pass." So I got him to sign me if I graduated early. But then he introduced me to my agent.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, got lucky.
If you can write yourself into Handmaid Tales, what would you play? Who would you be?
In Handmaid's Tale?
Yeah.
Oh shit. I love that show.
I know, I know, I
Um,
know.
who would I play?
You have to write your own stuff in. Like your character doesn't exist.
You know, it's so funny because my instinct, I always like to play kind of the unexpected character, maybe the unloved character. I really do. Normally I would say someone like Serena, one of the wives or the women, because I find it really interesting to play someone that I personally hate. But I actually played a character like that already. It was awesome. But I actually don't really get to be a badass that often. So I would want to play someone who is fighting the good fight, whether it's like someone who's already in Canada, who's like taking on refugees from Gilead, or I mean, to play Offred or June would be awesome. I couldn't even imagine, especially because it's such heavy work and the work I do is very light and comedic these days, but I'd love to do it. So that wasn't an answer. I think I said every character, all of them, every girl.
So basically, you want to play all of them.
Yeah, let's redo the show and I will play all the parts.
How do you, I love your energy. How do you deal with disappointment in the industry?
uh, I try not to care anymore. There was a time when it destroyed me and I was broken every time I got rejected. Not every time I got rejected, but every time I got close to something and then didn't get it. And it still sucks, but the thing is, you have to like keep going and you have to stay resilient. For me, what's worked is like I give myself a day. I give myself a day to really feel it and like cry and be a baby about it. And then kind of just release it because I don't want this industry to have a hold on me in that way. I don't want it to be in control of my feelings. And like if I didn't get something, then like fuck it, it wasn't mine. Whatever. Something better has always come along. And I just try to remember that.
Book me or not?
You book me or not, I don't care. Just,
You make me laugh.
thank you.
You wrote on an IG post that you always dreamt of working on a show like Pretty Smart.
Yeah.
So, what made you want to work on a show like? I mean, not want to work, but
Yeah.
what was that post about?
I just love sitcoms. Like I'm a sitcom nerd. I just like even just the traditional multi-camera format. Like I said, I grew up watching The Nanny, Will and Grace, Friends, Cheers, like all of those shows. I even love like the younger generation of it, like that 70s show. I think those guys were so good. I just think there's a real magic because it's almost like an intersection of theater and television.
Right.
And it's a lot harder than people give it credit for. I think especially nowadays we write it off as like a dying art. And I really hope that that turns around because I think it's really, really special. And so Pretty Smart was the first multicam that I ever did. And I mean, it also brought me this. Like, I think that if I hadn't had multicam experience, maybe I wouldn't have gotten our pilot. And so I'm just really grateful for it. I love multicam. I do.
when you say multicam, for the people that
Yeah.
don't know, could you explain what multicam is?
Yeah. So a multi-camera, I mean, it's literal multi-cameras. You have like, it's that, no, but I mean, no. I'm being an asshole, Mario. I'm not. No, it's it's basically to break it down in the simplest form is
I think your mic went out. No, I can't hear you. Let me make sure.
oh there, oh, there we go.
I think you did. I think you muted and started like talking about me, like.
Yeah.
I think you did that.
Hear you talk. That's multi-camera format is traditionally filmed in front of a live studio audience. So any show where that fourth wall isn't broken, where it's almost like they took that wall out and replaced it with an audience, and you're performing it almost like you're on a stage, is multi-camera.
Gotcha.
That's kind of the simplest. Like Friends is multicam, The Office is not. If that's kind of like my basic example.
Yeah, I like The Office, the way that they kind of shot it.
The Office rocks. I'm also like, I love comedy in general. I mean, that's also a sitcom. It's just on multicam. And I'm an Office fan. Like, I'm a freak about it. Like we could just turn this into like Office trivia if you want. We don't have to.
I don't want to make you look bad, but you know.
Yeah. All right. Whatever.
Have you ever passed up on a role, like an offer, like nah, it's not for me, I'm good, you know?
Yeah. Couple different things for a couple different reasons. I mean, it's so funny because I was always the actor that was like, never say no to an opportunity. But eventually you hit a point in your career where you have to like start playing the game a little bit and understand your worth, which is very hard for me. Like again, I'm a theater girl. I've worked really hard my whole life and I like working. But I have a really great team that really values me and is like, you need to value yourself. Like you shouldn't just take anything that comes your way. You should be selective and build a career, which is awesome. I'm glad I have them to kind of make that decision for me because I have a hard time saying no. And otherwise, I mean, I've turned down possible opportunities for certain reasons. I mean, I like to do things that are quality, that sounds, whatever.
Yeah, it makes sense for you and your team. You're right.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice for people who want to like learn their lines and some upcoming actors and they just like want to learn their lines good? Like any tips or anything you can?
Look, some people really struggle with it. I feel really lucky that to me that's the least of my worry. My worry is like getting out of my own way and not having anxiety. So I'm like, I can't add, if my lines were also difficult, I don't know how I would do it. I think you can't know your lines until you know what you're talking about. So to just try to memorize them without any information, I don't think it's going to get you anywhere. I like to do the work first and then memorize.
Right.
But in a bind, I've recorded my lines, recorded the whole scene, actually, my lines and the other person's, and just played it for myself like a playlist. Songs, right? Like, you play, I don't know, Lose Yourself by Eminem. Now you know the whole song. I mean,
that's more.
Yeah.
Speaking of like learning your lines and all that.
Yeah.
Well, scratch that.
You get your shit together.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Matter of fact, let me put you on mute so I can say something about you real quick.
Oh.
I'm done.
Okay, I'm looking forward to hearing about that.
Legacy.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to be known for? Like when it's all said and done, Olivia, what do you want your name to be attached for?
It's a really good question. I think about that a lot. I don't know. I think about the women that I admire the most.
Right.
And you just can't say that they're not good. You know, like I love Lisa Kudrow, for example. And like every time you say her name, people go, oh, she's just so funny. Oh,
Mm.
she's so good. Oh, she was the best one on that show. Or, you know, I love Patricia Clarkson as an actress I really admire. And I've never heard anyone say a bad word about not only her work, but her attitude on set, how she carried herself.
Mm.
I really pride myself on being professional but kind, and you know, both. And I, especially as of late, I'm really determined to solidify that as a part of who I am in this industry, that whether I'm number one on the call sheet or maybe one day directing or producing, that people feel really happy on my sets and feel really safe too. I'm really tired of seeing women mistreated on set, men and women, but mostly women on sets being mistreated. And I, you know, from the beginning, even when I was a first time series regular, if I saw a male extra harassing a female extra, I went right up to creatives and said, get him out of here. Like, knowing that, you know, I was scared and whatever, but I just don't tolerate it. And I think a lot of people unfortunately do. And I just will never let that be the case. So I hope people like what I do as an actor, but hopefully I'm also someone that people like working with.
Right, right. Definitely people do like working with you.
Okay, cool.
I can vouch for
Except
that.
some people.
Uh, let's take away film, take away film, take away being funny. What would you be doing?
I would, couple of things that interest me. I'm really into doula work and midwifery. I think
Oh, okay.
that I love it. I have a lot of friends that work in that industry. I think it's such a beautiful industry because you're there advocating for mothers in a really critical time. Because that's, you know, mostly doulas are there for mothers just as much as babies. I think people forget that. And I would love to be in that position. I'm an animal lover. I could totally see myself and will definitely do this when I know where I'm going to be each day, working with a rescue or making an animal sanctuary for sure. So those two things really interest me.
Oh, that's dope. That's
Yeah.
being a doula. That's I think more. I was thinking about like a more documentaries about that, more bring more awareness to that, because I don't think a lot of people
Absolutely.
know the
I think
importance of a doula.
people look at it as like a very crunchy granola, like, oh no, you know, I just need my doctor. And the thing is, we all know, look, doctors are incredible, but like the healthcare system is messed up. And hospitals are just trying to like get theirs, and to have someone there advocating for you when you're in a moment of, you know, God forbid, crisis is just incredible. And taking care, I could go on about this for a long time, but I just don't think we appreciate what our bodies do when we create and conceive a child and birth that child into the world. And I really think just like having an emphasis on taking care of your body in that time is something that needs a lot more attention.
Oh, right. Where do you draw inspiration from as a like being a creative? Where do you draw your inspiration from?
So many things. But lately, in the past couple of years, I'm a part of an amazing group of women. This sounds also very woo woo, and it is, but I own that. I'm a part of a mystery school, and a mystery school is basically where women for centuries have honed in on their clairvoyance, clairsentience, priestesshood, witchery, things like that. And I've always been interested in stuff like that. So I joined this group of women, and they're just incredible. And we just meet every 2 weeks and go through these kind of initiations with goddess like figures, and it just helps us kind of come into our own. But the best part of it is that I'm meeting women from all over the world who I would have never met otherwise. And we, from the get-go, just express the most unconditional love for each other and just offer a lot of support for each other. And I'm actually the only actress in the group, and it's really cool meeting women who do all different types of things and just being inspired by how great they are. So that's what I do.
How did you enjoy Atlanta?
Atlanta's great. People in the South are very much like people in the Midwest. They're really kind. Like that was especially on our set, that was a really exceptional group of people. Everyone was in good spirits. Everyone was really nice. There's less of that like jaded LA kind of energy. But Atlanta's wonderful. I had a really good time. I didn't get to see much of it, to be honest.
Oh
We
yeah,
weren't there that
yeah,
long, but it was nice.
yeah. Since this show is called Book Me or Not, why should they book Olivia or not?
Oh my God. I'm so bad at selling myself. I really am. I tend to let my work speak for me. But I am very proud of my work. I think that's the thing is that I've put in the work and I continue to put in the work. Uh, I'm really bad at this. Like, really, I'm not good at sales. I don't know. You don't have to book me, to be honest. Like, I just want to go. And this is sort of my thing right now. Like, I want to go where I'm wanted. I want to go where I go with ease and where it feels like a great fit and where I feel like I'm wanted for who I really am. And who I really am is not a very good salesperson, but that's also not my job necessarily. Like, I know in a way for actors it is, but at this point, I don't think so. I'm gonna do the work. You're gonna be happy with my work. So just hire me. And if you don't, okay, bye. That's so bad.
No, that's good. That's what it's called. Book Me or Not, we really don't care. That's
Yeah.
the thing.
Book me or not, I don't care.
T-shirts coming.
Great. Love it.
This is like a positive, this platform is positive, motivation. Do you have anything that's positive or any quote or anything that you just live by that keeps you going?
Yeah.
I was saying, did you have any positive quote or saying, anything that keeps you going through the years, or anything that just a word or anything that just keeps you going throughout this industry? As you say, it can be tough and all that. It just keeps you going. Any motivation that keeps you going?
Yeah. A lot of things come to mind. Let me think for a second. Uh Well, I don't know. I talked about this women's circle that I'm a part of, and I actually just met with them this morning. And one thing that our kind of facilitator, the woman who's in charge of it, says a lot is all of you is welcome here. Um, and I believe it when I'm there, and I feel really loved by other people. So I try to say that to myself, that all of my feelings, all of the thoughts that I have, whether they're fleeting or they take root or whatever emotions I have, all of it is welcome with me. I'm trying not to judge myself so harshly for who I am and how I am. And I think when you live that way, when you're that gentle with yourself and loving with yourself, um, life is gentle and loving with you. So just say to yourself, all of you is welcome here, and just feel your feelings. Don't judge them. It'll make life a lot easier.
Everything you're doing, I'm gonna give you flowers now. Everything that you're doing, your motivation, just the way you carry yourself, your personality, that's rare. And just we appreciate you. What's next for you?
Hopefully more of this show that we got to film the pilot of together. I love this group of people. I think Michelle Nader, our creator, is incredible. And obviously Christina Elmore, who plays my BFF, is the loveliest, along with the rest of our cast and crew. So hopefully we get to make more of this.
That whole core, what you just named, I was just watching you guys like, wow, everybody's is good. It's like, you guys were just killing it. It was funny, and it was good. Like, you guys mesh real good together. So hopefully, saying that does get picked up, because I would love to see it.
We're a good group, so fingers crossed.
Thank you. So thank you. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate you for coming through, making us laugh, blessing us with your presence. We appreciate it at Madesolid TV and Book Me or Not podcast. She's just like me and everybody else. Book us or not, we don't care. We're not selling ourselves.
We are not. We are not. We are loving ourselves. Except Mario, you're fired.
Again.
Just had to. Thank you. No, in all seriousness, thank you for having me. This is wonderful.
Thank you, you know what I'm saying, for blessing us. And we will send you some merch soon.
Oh, I would love, please.
The Book Me or Not